Yeah, so I promised I'd talk about this. I was still with the Scrap Pack when Kron Gracie kind of arrived, and he would show up with the guys from Stockton once in a while, and he'd spar, and they always kept him very close to the vest. And I've talked about that before. A lot of the stars wouldn't spar with me or a lot of the guys in the gym. It was very selective who they sparred with. And I'm trying to figure it out and understand it myself in retrospect. Jiu-jitsu's got this very slow roll deal going. I suppose that's the way they feel about it in stand-up. And there's a lot of reasons that they make those mistakes. I mean, Muay Thai guys don't spar very hard. But Muay Thai guys don't spar very hard because they fight nearly every month, right? Like, they don't have time to spar hard in between their fights. MMA fighters, it's not like that. Those guys aren't fighting 12 times a year. It's almost unheard of, maybe 2 or 3, right? So you got to spar hard to actually improve. Kron was very beginner, intermediate level when I was there. And it doesn't look like he's improved much. And he hasn't improved much because they haven't pushed him. Guys, the only way in this world, it's not just MMA, you have to have resistance. You have to have adversity to get better, to grow in anything you do. So if you sit around all day and pitter-pat spar and go light and, have guys that don't push you and make you feel like you're great, that can be good in certain situations. I know Gilbert Melendez did that as champ, right? And then on fight night, he was a killer. But the reality is you don't actually get any better. It's one of the reasons Gil never learned to check leg kicks. And this is not alone to the Scrap Pack. The reality is there's a lot of MMA gyms, quote, that are really jujitsu gyms, right? And then you stand up and they think stand-up's, it's punching and kicking. Everybody can do that. No big deal. We're born with that instinct. And that's really a fatal flaw in all of their stand-up games and why they don't ever reach that next level and why kickboxers like Adesanya, like Pereira and guys like that rise to the top above them. Obviously strikers have their own problems on the other side of it. I know a lot of gyms like that, and it's probably because, jiu-jitsu is the ground base. If you don't know how to grapple and whatnot in an MMA fight, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But the confusion is people think a jiu-jitsu black belt somehow translates into stand-up ability. And there's no correlation in that whatsoever. I mean, they talk about it like, he's a black belt. Well, what does that mean? Because, in stand-up, that means absolutely nothing. But, listen, we delude ourselves. Ego is very protective in fighting sports. I hope Kron has improved. The best way to do that is to leave that team in the dust, to get himself better. Because truthfully, it's not they're trying to destroy Kron. They want Kron to be successful. They don't know how to get better. They don't understand these things. And why? Because MMA is a really, really new sport, right? And because of that, everybody's learning all the time, and egos get in the way. And Kron Gracie's career is a sad reflection of that. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the Light.